We've got a special guest here in Craig Burns, the Victorian greyhound trainer that has his star greyhound going around in the heat of the Sportsbet Melbourne Cup. I speak of Tinker Norm, who's a terrific chance in race number 8. Burnsy, welcome to our coverage, mate. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Can you win?
Going to need some luck. I think he's certainly got the motor to be able to do it. It's going to rely on box rise and possibly where the other dogs go rather than where he does. So.
Well, mate, this greyhound Tinker Norm, he's taken you on one hell of a ride. He's been mixing it top class for a long time. I just go through his last few starts. He's been racing with Jay is Jay, racing with Victor Damien. He's been racing with Postman Pat. Talk to me about the journey that has been with Tinker Norm, because you've been here, there and everywhere. You went to the $1 Million Chase. It just must be an amazing ride.
It's been fairly surreal. We've really only been training dogs for about 2.5 years. So, look, he started out as a really promising pup over the shorts, and we sort of slowly worked him through. And yeah, I guess he sort of announced himself when he ran down transponder at the Meadows in a maturity heat. He sort of gave him 5 lengths up the back, and from there he made the maturity final, the national sprint final, and then where we were running for $1 million up in Sydney there one day. So
I'm not sure the people at home would think our man Burnsy has an earpiece in his ear, but that's the replay we're seeing right now. Runs down transponder on the line, and you absolutely nailed it. 5 lengths off the lead down the back, gets him right on the line. I guess that adds the confidence. I know you'd already know how good this boy is, but the fact transponder could come out and win a Top Gun,
sure,
you knowing that you've ran him down must give you confidence going into a Melbourne Cup heat.
Yeah, look, it does. You can only race the dogs you're up against. He's raced Postman Pat 3 times at the Meadows and beat him home twice as well. So he's claimed some good scalps, but that's in the past. Tonight's the future, and he's got another pretty handy one out of box too that he's got to try and deal with as well.
Yes,
so,
he does.
So, Craig, I love this story. So how long have you been training greyhounds for?
We started breeding about 5.5 years ago, and probably about 2.5 years ago we decided that we'd go full on into the training side. So it's myself and the wife. Love her. She's at home at the moment, man in the fort. So,
hello, Mrs. Burns.
Mrs. Burns.
We love you too.
Yes.
We wish you the best of luck tonight. Now, so how did you get into the breeding dogs? Was it in your blood? Did you grow up with the dogs?
It was actually Max Scott's birthday yesterday, which was up on the metaphor board at the Meadows. So I sent Maxie a text message when I was about 12 or 13.
So just explain who Max Scott is for the people out there.
Maxie's pretty well known through the industry. He was a president at Geelong, and I think he was a secretary of the GOTBA, and he was around for quite a long time. Max used to live about 4 or 5 doors up from us, and I knocked around with his boys, and every night after school we'd be out lead walking dogs, and when Max would race I'd be in the back of the panel van with 4 greyhounds breathing on me because they were all in the front. So that was the initiation to it many years ago, and probably about 6 or 7 years ago one of my real estate clients' brothers had actually bred a litter of pups and said, would you like to buy one? And funnily enough, thank you, Jen, she gave me the go-ahead to buy one, and that was Tinker Bob. We named him after my dad, which was my dad's nickname, so that's where the Tinker comes from. And then after that, we bought a couple, and then we got a brood bitch in Gorka Bale and Dinah Peanut, and we've had some litters, and now we've got 60 of them and a lot of droppings to pick up every day as well.
You're no longer selling houses then?
No, I haven't. I've put a suit on once in 5.5 years, so...
So people watching this at home then, so it can be done. So you grew up in a way watching how dogs are trained, but so I could go and buy a greyhound and you could give me some instructions, but it's not like the standardbreds or the thoroughbreds. It's a lot easier to get into this beautiful game.
Oh, it's easy to get into. It's just the 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week, 365. That's probably the downside to it. Although it's a passion and it's a lifestyle, and obviously we love it or we wouldn't be here. So
I love the...
And you train as well, James.
I do. The wife does the majority of the work for me, and I think behind every good trainer there has to be somebody good at home who's doing the work behind the scenes. But what I love about the Melbourne Cup and races like this, guys, is the passion. And right now we see you with a Norm hat on, ready to handle this boy in a Melbourne Cup heat. Talk to me about the emotion of even just being here tonight.
Look, it's obviously exciting to think you're in a Melbourne Cup heat, but realistically I'll go over to the kennel block later and I'll take him out the same way as I would if I was in a maiden race at Hillsville. It's the same process.
Do you dream though?
Well, you've got to dare to dream, James. I didn't think I'd ever race a dog for $1 million, but we somehow managed to get there. So
what was that like?
that was different. I must say I'm happy to be back at Melbourne. But look, that was probably a massive learning curve for me as a trainer, because I'd never raced outside of 2 hours from home. So
what a time to do it too.
Yeah, well, it wasn't bad. So that was obviously exciting. Melbourne Cup has a lovely ring to it. So there's now 64 less 7 dogs to go around that are still contenders. So.
Now, Craig, when you go and see Tinker Norm and you take him out the back, talk us through what happens. Do you have a chat to him? Does he listen to you? When you're about to put him in those boxes, what's the last thing that you want to say to him tonight?
Just get around safe, predominantly. I like to tell him put his nose down and run fast.
Yes. Does he listen?
But he doesn't always listen, does he? And you've actually got some footage here on your phone of Look, we don't want to bring the mood down a little bit, but Tinker Norm has created a little bit of a bad habit. And as you log into a very long passcode in your phone, I'm almost getting to your bank details after seeing that one, Burnsy. But hold this up to the camera and talk to us what it is he's actually doing.
I was actually showing this to the boys a bit earlier. As a youngster, Normie was pretty much a lid pinger. He used to come out under the lids, and that was at Geelong back in May, where you can see he's caught his nose on the bottom flat plate of the starting boxes somehow, believe it or not.
Trying to get out, isn't he?
And since he's done that, he's actually the smartest dog that I've got, or I've ever seen, of any breed for that matter. And now that was a bit of pain that day. So when I put him in the boxes, he'll stand up and wait for the lids to open before he sort of goes to drive. And unfortunately, that's probably cost me 2 Group 1s and $1 million chase. But if only I could get him back to doing what he did for his first. That was probably 25 starts ago. So look, tonight's the night.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, mate. Go and live that dream, and hopefully you can win a Melbourne Cup over the next couple of weeks.
Magic. Hope I'm here a bit later on talking to you. Thank you.